All right, Robert, thank you for joining me today on this conversation. Looking forward to kind of finding out what you guys on the Orton group are doing to get your agents into production. So start me off, kind of where are you guys at right now? What is the mix of agents you have? And then just let me know with that mix of agents what they have got going on thus far, because we've got some newer agents and they're getting into production pretty quickly, but just frame it up for us real quick. Where are you guys at?
Yeah, definitely. So we're right now sitting at 10 agents. Our newest hire was a week ago. And that was an agent that came out of Southern California. And they have 13 years experience. They went ahead and passed their state exam so that they could be fully licensed, submitted everything. They're going to WMVR today, so that they'll be on the team. So that brings us to an actual total of 10 agents.
Okay.
With that, we're shooting for roughly 200 transactions for the year. That's with new agents as well as our kind of senior tenured agents. In addition, we have kind of heavier side of weight with newer agents versus older agents. So we have 3 senior agents, and then everybody else they're in their first year or their first full production year in real estate.
Okay. So 200 is the aim. When I talked to Jeremy the other week, you guys were at, 140-ish units, and it was 1.1 million in gross commission income, and it was about 45 million in volume. So you guys are pretty good on track. And so Robert, what's your role within the Orton team as it stands right now too?
So I'm the director of both operations and sales right now.
Okay.
So that is managing our internal staff, managing our systems, managing our process, managing our spend, looking future forward. And then on the sales side, it's recruitment, it's training, it's making sure that we're hitting our sales targets. So that's conversations, that's working with agents in order for them to kind of build on their own a sense of confidence, as well as a sense of understanding how talking to their clients goes. So a lot of role playing. We do fundamental activity trainings. It's just a plethora of different methods in order to get the results that we're looking for.
Okay. So let's dive into that. So you've got a handful of newer agents, right? So the mix, you said you got some senior agents that are more established and more consistent, but you've got a handful of newer agents, and you were sharing with me that all of them except one has the RE14 buyer's rep contract signed. So what have you been able to do to get these newer agents in? It is a challenging market with higher interest rates. Home prices are elevated. But as we looked at stats last week, the market's actually stronger than it was last October. So we don't want to fool ourselves and tell ourselves a false narrative. But that's also something we hear often from people. Hey, this is a harder market. There's less leads. There's less activity. What is it that you guys are driving towards? What are the 3 buckets you guys are really focused on that are helping these agents get into production? I would say exponentially faster than most new agents.
So we focus heavily into our training and development side for our newer agents. We teach them how to utilize our systems, how to utilize our process, how to present using our fundamentals. We also focus into those fundamentals with their SOI, with those people that are going to be supportive of them in their real estate journey from the beginning. In addition, we pair them with mentors. So people that have been in the business, that have success, having those conversations, no matter the markets. And then in addition, we are constantly coming at the approach as learners, right? So it's a continuous learning path. And that's not just for our newer agents, that's for our older agents. Everybody has a story, or everybody has something that they can contribute that might be a different way of thinking, might be a different way of approach, but it all encompasses that same method of working with our SOI. So we focus heavily into that. We focus heavily into how we present information, what we are wanting to showcase, as well as what we're wanting to make sure that whoever we're meeting with leaves with a strong understanding of what the team offers. We have a 12-week training that all new agents go through. On our team, we don't do listings for new agents until after a year. They go through a certification process. We have internal referrals. So if you have listings on the team and you're in that first initial year, you still receive compensation for, getting that lead and everything, but it is your mentor or another member on the team that is listing certified that then is able to provide that client that level of service in which we're looking for. And the reason why we do that is to understand the buyer side at a fundamental level will in turn help you understand how to assist those listing clients at a stronger degree.
For sure. So you touched on this 12-week program. Can you just spend a little time and talk to us about that? That's obviously something that as a newer agent, right? I've been in the business for 10 years, but when I was new, the training is huge. What do you guys do as I kind of come onto the team that helps accelerate? What does that 12 weeks look like? I'm not looking for micro detail here, but kind of what does the overarching 12-week look like?
So the first month, right? So it's broken into 3 sections essentially. First month is learning systems, processes, team organization, as well as, responsibilities, level of accountability, things of that nature. Then the second month, we focus heavily into our community involvement. So if you're a member on our team, you're involved in something, whether it's church or just a community. We have people on Awanas, we have people that are Masons, just any kind of involvement into those community and taking action that way. And then the last month is based into your not necessarily mastery, but your ability to handle things on your own, whether that's negotiating a contract, getting to the appointment, starting, a cold call, essentially, right? That last month is focused heavily into that. Throughout the whole process, there is a singular mindset. We're a very optimistic group. So regardless of the market, we know that people need to do something in real estate. We know, we focus on those 7 Ds, and we utilize that success leaves footprints, stand on the shoulders of giants, those kind of mentality in order to kind of hold that strong belief cycle through some of the hard market trends, as well as just that initial start to real estate.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that draws so many of us to real estate is twofold, right? It's the opportunity, right? There's a great opportunity, but there's also the flexibility, right? And I hate to say this, but that flexibility is often a thing that takes away the opportunity, right? I show up into this role and it's, hey, if I don't go to work tomorrow, my boss doesn't yell at me, right? Like I don't get fired. I don't nothing bad happens. We all know what transpires if we do that day in and day out. We wake up 6 months, a year later, and we go, oh, this didn't work because I leaned too hard into the flexibility and missed the opportunity. And it sounds like you guys are really trying to shore that up as far as that first 90 days being really critical to having a solid base, right? A 3-legged stool, right? That solid base underneath you. and that accountability piece that often goes missing when we step into the real estate world.
Exactly. So having foundational habits, right? So 90 days is a great time to build strong, lasting habits.
Yeah.
So you talk to, if I show up and, nobody's there, then if I don't show up tomorrow, it doesn't matter, right? But when you have a team, you have mentors, you have peers, right? Not only are you hearing about their successes, but you're also showing up for that person as well. So in the military, we always said it doesn't matter why we're here, right? We're fighting for the person to the left and right of us.
Yeah.
And it's similar with that on a team where, you're here because you want to support this person. And our mentors are a full embodiment of that, where they have their own incentives and everything like that to help these newer agents be successful. But the fundamental incentive that they have is just that they want to see these people succeed, right?
Yeah.
So they dedicate their time, they dedicate their abilities. They work in tandem sometimes with them on transactions and just see them through to the finish line. And that's kind of just a team cultural aspect that we built here on the Jeremy Orton Real Estate Group. So
awesome. And so we've got that, right? You've got that 90-day launch, kind of get them in there. They're getting paired with that mentor at the same time, and we'll circle back to the mentor here in a minute. It sounds like that second layer, though, is these daily huddle team meetings you guys have, and a heavy focus on the conversations that agents should be having, right? So walk me through, I guess we've hit step one is this 90-day launch. Step two is this added layer of accountability around the team, which you just touched on, right? I'm here for you. I'm here for you. But what does the day-to-day look like? What does the scripting and role play look like on a day-to-day basis that these agents are really able to, again, gain that confidence that, like, I know what to say and how to say it and the right questions to ask?
So daily, and I don't want to say daily. I want to say Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we have agent-specific scripting. On Wednesday, we have a full team huddle, and we go over all of our stats to a pretty high degree. We know how many listings are coming, what they're listed for. We know how much showings we had. We know how much feedback that we were able to obtain. So we kind of try to keep a pulse on the market that way as well. But during those agent scriptings, we focus on conversations that are relevant to whatever market we're dealing with. So today we focused on our buyer presentation, because that's what we do on Tuesdays, is we go over presentations. Those that are listing certified will break off and they can do listing certifications level presentation for our listing. And then the other ones are doing our buyer presentation. And on this particular day, we focused on what writing an offer looks like, what things to consider, and how to present that information so that the customer that we hope to be a client, because this is during our presentation, is able to comprehend, right? So that's check on learning. That's making sure that they understand what these terms mean. So utilizing things that, a common language, essentially. So there's not a lot of acronyms in it. There's not a lot of higher level realtor speak, in a sense. And then on Thursdays, we focus on objection handling. So either if there's a particular objection that just constantly is happening, and we're seeing it either with our ISA department or with our agents, then we focus into that. And Monday, it's generally introductory scripting. So that's like your Ford, for instance.
Okay. Awesome. So again, that's just that there's that, really what I'm hearing is just like, man, I'm really getting, I hate to say this, but it's just confidence,
Yeah.
Right. That's what's being built there early on is confidence. Right. And I know oftentimes when I was there talking to newer agents, it's like, I don't feel comfortable yet. And I think the faster you can get comfortable, the better you're going to be. All right,
Yeah.
perfect. So now let's just go a little deeper on the mentor program. What does that look like? You have three very stellar agents at the top there on the team. What does mentorship look like? It does sound like these agents are getting plugged into the mentor program pretty quickly, but what are expectations there, and what are new agents and the senior agents doing together?
So we have a pretty solid division of responsibility for the mentor and the mentoree. Mentors are there to support during what I call field questions and field exercises, right? So what that means is a field question is something that's happening outside of a training environment. So how do I better negotiate this offer? These people are just not being able to meet, right? They say they're excited, they're ready to, sit down and have that buyer consultation, but I can't get them to commit to a time. Just anything that is going to be specific to the field of real estate. That's where the mentor's coming in. In addition to that, they're helping with initial contracts. So all of our agents are writing their contracts for the first time, right? When they come into the team and they're starting real estate, even if, for instance, that one that we just hired, they've written contracts before, but it was in another state. Our contracts are completely different than their contracts. So that tactile touching and doing is super important, but to have that guiding force behind you is, again, to that confidence level, right? I feel more confident doing this. I feel more confident writing this, either RE14 or the RE21.
Yeah. All right. So they've got that level of support, like you said, in the field. Now let's get to how they're getting these RE14s and getting in front of consumers, right? And I think this has been a pretty big shift for you guys over the last couple of years, where I know there was a lot more online lead gen being spent, but now you guys are really honed in on database, and I know the open house part of it's a really big piece too. So can you touch on sort of how agents are getting into the business via the database and via open houses?
Yeah. So when the NAR settlement happened, you can look at it as a blessing or a curse. We're kind of looking at it as a blessing because it's pushed more people towards open houses that are non-affiliated with an agent, because you don't need to have that, RE14 or the RE5 in Idaho in order to go and see this property during the open house. It's kind of like the loophole piece of it. So then what we're doing is we're utilizing the amount of listings that we have on the team, and we're leveraging those with our newer agents so that they can go and do open houses and get clients from that. We've seen a pretty good success from our open houses. A lot of the buyer consultations and that lead to the RE14s. Today, one of our agents is closing their first transaction that they've ever had, and that came directly from an open house. And that was at an open house that another agent on our team has the listing for.
So I think the open house thing, when done properly, is a huge advantage. I think it oftentimes isn't done properly, but when marketed accordingly and done at a high level, it definitely is a massive benefit. So database open house is a big thing. Touch on the open house thing. I know you guys are going several different mediums to get that in front of people. What are you guys doing there?
So we're using everything that we have at our disposal in order to market and let people know about the open houses that we have. So we're utilizing social media, we're utilizing personal social media. We also utilize our database. So anybody that their Smart searches are in line with whatever open house we're sending them, that, as an invitation, as a reminder. In addition, we've recently just started to create events. So when you Google, what to do this weekend in Twin Falls or Jerome or Rupert or Burley, this open house is going to pop up. And
is it, Robert, is that a paid thing? I'm not familiar with that. So can you touch?
That's not a paid thing. So if you utilize Everbright or Eventbrite,
Eventbrite, yep,
Eventbrite, if you're not charging people, then it's a free service.
Okay.
So you can utilize a lot of different free options or things that you're already paying for in order to expand upon your reach for open houses. In addition to that, every open house that we have, we go and door knock the neighborhood, either the day before or the day of the open house, right? It's a great way to introduce people. It's a great way to kind of get familiar with the neighborhoods in which we're doing listings, and it helps, with listings, but it also helps with buying, referrals, and getting people to those open houses.
Yeah, I think it's so critical, and it's proving that it works. So 12-week launch, right? Solid foundation, meetings throughout the week, deep diving into the conversations that should be taking place, partnering with a mentor to get those kind of in-field live questions, leveraging the database, which again, every agent should start there, right? Even if you're in the game for 10 years, you probably have areas to improve there. Open houses, leverage those things, use multiple mediums to get that out in front of people. I think that kind of encompasses what you guys are doing right now to get this goal of 200 and get agents up and running as fast as possible.
Yes. And then in addition to just that, it's just working with our SOI, focusing heavily into that.
Yeah.
I was talking to a potential agent a couple of days ago, and it's that every brokerage, right, can offer you leads. Everybody can grab leads from online, a whole bunch of other sources and stuff like that. But the difference is, if I give you 1,000 leads and you don't know how to work one, then that's 1,000 lost leads. But if I can teach you how to work a lead, how to work your SOI, how to focus in those conversations, how to identify when somebody is ready versus when they're kind of on the fence or holding back, and understand what those levels look like. If I give you 10, you're more likely to close more than if I give you 1,000 and you have no understanding. So we focus heavily into those levels of training on the team so that you have that skill set.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the fastest path in this business is always going to be with the people that know, like, and trust you. And I think that's the biggest difference you just said. I can give you 1,000 leads from the internet. They don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. Or I can give you, hey, your mom, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your aunt, your uncle. Those people know you. They should like you, and they should trust you. And that's always the fastest way to get up and running. And it's often the thing that we overlook the most.
Yes. Another thing that we focus on is branding. So Jeremy Orton. I don't have to walk up to people and say, hey, I'm in real estate. If they see me and they're questioning or have a question in real estate, it comes up pretty easily. We had one of our agents that was at a baby shower, and they just said, hey, are you in real estate? Oh yeah. Right. Like, they didn't start the conversation. They were there for the baby shower, but they were wearing, their gear, and had that conversation that led to a sale. So
yeah, there you go. That's just easy. Wear clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Robert, I appreciate you sharing the kind of story here. I think it's a good one. It's a unique one. I've watched Jeremy, grow the team, and I know you coming in has been a big driver of that as well. He was kind of he's been looking for you for a little while. So you're doing a great job helping these agents get up and running. And I think the proof's in the pudding. When you've got agents with contracts within their first 3 months of being licensed, that's evident that something's working.
Yeah, definitely. And we're still looking to grow. So we're growing the Magic Valley still, right? We still want agents on the team. We want to plug people into this system and have them be successful, whether they're brand new to the industry or they've had years in the industry, or they might have taken a break from the industry, right? And need to relearn a couple things. But we are looking for people that just have that optimistic mindset and are willing to do the work, because that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, totally. That's what it is, man. It's you got to go to work in this business.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, my friend, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you sharing. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you as well.
All right. Thank you.